Rise and shine, roommates. It's your girl, Lasacia Turner, and I'm here with pro basketball team owner and entrepreneur. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. No complaints.
I just want to jump right into your basketball team because that's something that really grabbed me because it was shocking. I never heard of a woman actually owning a team. Obviously, we all know it's possible, but actually to see somebody do it and somebody that is my skin, it's very rewarding and proud.
Yes, I get that a lot as far as being the first and youngest pro team owner, men's team owner for our league, as far as I know of. It kind of started out as a younger age, around 6. I just kind of always knew that I wanted to own an NBA team. And as I'm looking at it now, the realization of actually owning a team is there. I had to restructure my plans because, as you can see, big teams like the Timberwolves and such they're up for sale. You know what I mean, or was up for sale, and they're punching in at about $600 million. So, as an African American, just as a mom, things of that nature, I do have a really strong investment group that is, looking to bag me and purchase power. But my ultimate goal to start off is going to be NBA G League. So as a kid, I've always wanted to own an NBA team. NBA G League to me does suffice. And I had to think to myself about getting experience. It's like, okay, so how do you get your feet wet? Like how do you actually run something that you've never done before? Like now, I'm not gonna lie, like at 6 years old, I was already like analyzing, putting things together, understanding how this stuff works, vaccine, B-roll footage, marketing. Like I knew all of this stuff at like a young age. I opened up my first business at 16. That was like my beginning into like the business world, understanding acumen, punctuality, being on time, negotiation, network, that was the biggest thing for me because I ended up winning a government contract. And it was like once you get a government, I call it a government bid or a government contract, you just, you have to handle your business a little bit differently because, you're not dealing with, your everyday Joes. You're dealing with one particular person that's over your account, probably a former, militant, whatever, but they ain't playing when it comes to, because for me, mine was with the military. So it was like when you're dealing with these type of people, they want everything structured and, in organization. If you ever seen the movie Slumdog Millionaire, it's like my whole life like does feel like it comes together as a sort. And having this team is no different. So that's kind of how I got started.
Now, talk about your family's background. Did you ever join the military or have aspirations to join it before you started the
Oh,
business?
heck yeah. The Navy. Like, I took all of the tests. I actually got into the Navy. All of my high school friends, they went off into the Army and the Navy. And I got right, like, to the course as far as the 6-week training and found out I was having my daughter at 17 years old. It was out of going to a D1 college because I had D1 offers and I got into a military all in one. And it was like, okay, which avenue do you want to go? So I kind of had some speculation that, I could have been expecting, but I said to myself, like, okay, are you ready to go to D1 college? Do you want to go to a D1 when you already have a business? It's thriving. I got 80 plus clients. I got government business. Like, what do you want to, why would you want to further your education now when you're just in the education process for business and you have to work simultaneously and you now have a child? So I still picked the Navy,
Right.
and they kind of told me, it was everything was amazing. I'm not gonna say anything negative about that, but everything was amazing as far as the experience. They told me, they said, okay, when you have your child, you might have to, sign over rights, which, is a requirement for the Navy. In case, anything were to happen, you have to have, a next of kin or somebody that could take care of your kid. And that was like a realization moment for me. Like I asked them, I said, what are my options? And, they let me out. They told me, they were like, you know what, we will just allow you to kind of like, relinquish and all this other things. And they just let me out of the Navy. I thought that was like pretty cool of them because they could have really and very easily just said, like, no, you staying here, you ain't going nowhere. You already, you done enlisted, like you ain't turning back now. But I felt like the person that I dealt with, which was a recruitment officer, they did me a lot of justice, and I probably wouldn't be where I am today, just to be 100% honest, if that had happened in a different way.
I'm gonna guess the D1 offer was because you play basketball throughout high school.
You know what? Everybody says that. No, like You know,
Track.
it was track, yes. Like I didn't play. I ain't gonna lie. Like I have a lot of little girls that are on my page and I talk to them all the time. They inbox me, they'll ask me, they say, you know what, Miss RJ, like I'm going through something, you know, like I'm just upset, you know, I'm mad about this, I'm mad about that. For me, I understand that because like going, you know, from high school, from junior high, like I still tell everybody until today, and I'm not ashamed to say it. It's like I couldn't tell you what I was going through as a teenager. Like I was just so, you know, always in trouble, argumentative, fighting, like causing chaos. Like I couldn't tell you what that was in me at that time frame. You know, as you get older, you realize like, okay, it's just the hormones of a teenager. You know, some kids take it out on their parents, others take it out on other people, others just kind of don't say anything and they kind of suffer in silence. You know, it just depends on those teenage hormones. And for me, my dad was like, look, I don't know what's going on with you, but I want you to focus more on whatever it is that you're trying to do with, you know, your future. And I promise you, I don't know if that was just by fate. He's like, you know, you said you want to own the team. You said this is what you're trying to do. You need to sit yourself down and research and do whatever it is that you need to do so you can figure out A, why you acting like this, and B, what you trying to do with your life. And I promise you, ever since then, I just was like on the straight and narrow. A cousin of mine ended up coming to me. She's like, man, you know what? I run track. I'm running cross country. You should ask your parents, see if they can like, you know, let you in. Like, I want to say I was in like 3 or 4 track meets and I started getting letters after letters after letters after letters. I'm like, okay, well, this might be the way to go. You know, as our culture, we don't really have people to come to us and tell us, well, this is what you should do with your life, or you should make this choice. You know, you just pretty much go with the flow, or you go with the motion of things. And I'm blessed enough to say that I just kind of knew more about what I wanted to do with my life and didn't want to be deterred or strayed away from that. So I stayed focused for owning a team and still focused now with going into, you know, a higher level with it.
And this is why I appreciate interviewing people that have motivation behind them and that have built themselves up, because that story right there actually just gave me determination. Because starting a podcast, I kind of questioned myself of who I used to be, and as a young child, as a young girl, not like trying to figure out what was all my like spurts and anger about. Make a long story short, I've been questioning myself. I used to be such that little person that was quiet until you made me mad. And now I'm running a podcast that's about inspiration. And it used to make me think, like, how would people judge me from then and now? But that story just made me realize that that was just a younger me. And as you grow into just like a different person, and you find your way through like other people and through other help. So I definitely appreciate that story. Another question that I have for you is, what are the trials that you go through when it comes to owning a team?
Oh man. First, to piggyback off of what you said, like you just gotta know, like in the past, like that's the past. Like, yeah, you can remember it, but you can't always go off of that. It has to be a streamline, like for your future, right? Additionally to that, like you'll always find those people that knew you when you was young. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, who, you know, I always say, who cares? Like, you know, if you knew me then, you need to get to know the new me now, because me and them person ain't the same. As far as like the trials and tribulations that I've been through, man, being a woman in the sports industry, I haven't had many issues when it comes to, you know, what I hear a lot. You know, I hear a lot of people say, you know, like being a woman, you don't have a voice in the industry, you're disrespected a lot, or you get like, you know, all these I guess like guys that try to like, you know, talk to you or whatever. Like it could be because I have a RBF, you know what that means, I'm sure. So it's like,
no,
oh, it's a resting face. So
yes. Oh yes.
So it could be because of that. Like I've never had anybody like come at me sideways. Anytime I've came into a room, or if I'm have a seat at the table, like it's always a respect mechanism. And I have a bully for a staff. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm sure you met Elena before, and you know, other people, they know me for, you know, like the people that are around me. So I do feel like I haven't had any issues per se beyond, you know, the traditional people that just don't want you to succeed. You know, you're always gonna have haters and everything that you do, because you know, every person on another level does not want to see you succeed, whether that be because of your skin color, because of how you look, because of who you are, or just because of who they are. And it's like, I've had those type of trials and tribulations, but that's never stopped me. And I've never really fed into it. Like I see all of the hate, but I never address it because it's just, you know, it's like a toilet.
Right. It's not something that pays you your motivation, or people like to say it's not something that don't pay your bills.
Exactly.
So I definitely see where you're coming from. This is actually the first time I ever heard a woman owning a basketball team. And like I said, it's possible. So for people that's listening and actually want to take that step out into that field, or even try to understand or research how to become an owner of a basketball team, what degree would that even fall under in college, or what kind of studies would somebody have to take?
You know what's really crazy? I'm going to answer the question in 2 seconds, but what's really crazy is because I was a teenage parent. So I didn't get a chance to go to college. Like, I was going to online classes simultaneously while running my business. I managed to get an associate's degree, but I never really went back to get my bachelor's. I just literally got approved or accepted into Harvard. Like, I literally just got that like a week and a half ago as African American.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So like that was really a big milestone for me. But if I had to guess as far as who I would hire that I would love for somebody to run my business for credential wise, I would say at least a master's in sports management. And the reason for that would be because school takes you through a certain set of current courses and standards and skills that you need to just talk in life. Like, if you don't have communication skills, because you could be the smartest person upstairs, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can solve a math problem in your head, but if you can't close the deal out of your mouth, sports might not be the thing for you. So that's what I would look at.
And when you say that you got an associate's degree, what did you get an associate's degree in, and what are you going for Harvard for now?
It's so funny because I literally got my associate's degree in computer information systems with a focus on sync systems and accounting. Yes, nothing to do with sports. and then I'm going to Harvard right now. I'm really going for to Harvard Business School, and I want to learn more about like the entrepreneurial essentials. And it's really crazy because I already have it, you know what I mean? But it's like I feel like I need to brush up on the millennial way on how to do negotiation, contract negotiations, and like certain business acumens. Like, I'm trying to run an arena, so it's like I feel like I have to deal with like a bigger business model than what I'm used to here. The money, I'm used to dealing with, you know, those type of quantities, but when it comes to like arenas, business model, layout, all of that, gotta brush up on it.
All right, you like to be refreshed.
Definitely.
Have new techniques when it comes to your selling. My question is, I'm going to talk about the team a little bit, because I'm just curious of, for an owner, what is the work that you do off the court, and what are the priorities you hold when it comes to your team?
Oh man, my priority is really high. Reason being is because we are the first team that I'm aware of in our county, and the only team and the first team in our city. And we're in a county where it is predominantly middle class citizens. You know what I mean? And I feel like for me, being a middle class citizen, when you're bringing something into a front line for people of all races, but predominantly one that is not your own, you do have to deliver above expectation, because I feel like people would expect of you to deliver under, you know? So my priority for my guys, my team, marketing, environment is always going to be at the utmost high. And then aside from that, the guys off the court, they have so many standards. They have like 1,000 hours of community service that they have to complete. They have to show up for meet and greets and different type of community service events. They got to have 500 to 1,000 hours of community service. Like, they just are held to a higher standard, pretty much the same that you would have if you were in the NBA.
Right. What's the mission for your team? What's the mission behind the team? I was reading up on the website, and I was wondering, what is the building experience compared to a professional level?
It's crazy because ours have actually exceeded the professional level. So my mission is always going to be to provide a fun, friendly family environment, right? Like, we're always going to focus on the kids of the community, because me growing up, how I grew up, where I grew up, a community center was my outlet. And as we heard me say, I already had, temperamental issues, being and living in certain environments. It's like, it's so easy to get into so many different things. And if people only understood like the importance of sports and putting your children in sports early to keep their mental mindset, like, on one accord, it's mind boggling. But for us as an organization, we are always going to be in the community to pretty much provide that for the kids of the community. And on a professional note, that's what you have for NBA, you have like your youth, your junior teams or your junior community programs or kids clubs. That's what we would have and are for our community. Does that make sense?
Yes, okay. It's clear. When it comes to your field, how many women do you know that's that's right now a owner as well?
For me, I don't actually know of any. So
Oh wow, so you are the
yeah,
first.
so like I know people that are within my league that own teams, and I know probably like two people that I can say that I do and can and will vouch for their organizations, but I haven't, I can't do anything beyond that. As far as who runs the organization like mine, there isn't even any in the world. Reason being is because, and I'm not saying that to be cocky, I promise you. I'm only saying that because
No. I see it as confidence.
thank
Honestly.
you. I'm saying it really too off a statistic. Like, you even have the big leagues. Like, I'm not scared to name drop, but you got guys like the NBA. They're only in 5 or 6 countries. Like for big events and leagues, different Olympic events, things of that nature. As whereas for my one team, we are literally legally and partnered with 12 different countries. Like for a whole league on their level, they're at about 14 million in analytics, and they have how many teams? 30 something teams. We're one team, and we're almost at 7 million in analytics. So our comparison module compared to 30 teams compared to one is not me, like being overconfident and bragging. It's really statistics, metrics, numbers, and proof. Like we are making our mark. When I say we're making our mark, we're trying to make our mark. We are like literally burning a hole in the imprint of what I want as far as when I do enter into the big leagues.
Right. So you're not really far from the NBA when it comes to your
Absolutely.
team. I want to speak about you as a woman in your field. And I know in the beginning you said that you really don't face problems as a woman. You're invited to the table. But I want to know, do you guys have a seesaw effect? Now, a seesaw effect to me is it's in the same position, but once somebody gets, I guess, more than the other, it's never even.
Heck yeah. Okay, so for me, this is like the story of my life, which is really crazy, is because where I come from, I have had to deal with an array of issues of people doing things from a comparison module. Like, oh, okay, I see this person getting ahead. Let me do something to try to, to snipe that or stop that or snip that or whatever you want to say. And so, like me having an organization, I'll get guys that'll come play for my team, and they'll see me on this platform over here as a CEO, and they'll see themselves playing for the team, but wonder why they're not on my level. I don't know why it's the hardest thing to grasp or understand, but people really feel like they can come into your business and be on the same level as you are. And it's like, you can't. Like, I started this at 6 years old. That means that I'm milestones ahead compared to a person that's just coming in and just tried out, that just got some papers. And again, a cultural thing that I have noticed is that we want something for nothing. A lot of times we don't want to put in the time, energy, and effort. You have those people that will put in work to get to where they want to be. But unfortunately, there's a higher number of people that would prefer to have the easy route. It's like, okay, I'm going to sign up. Like, yeah, now give me overseas. But you ask them to, come to an event or show their face for this or do that or, be on time, even something so small like your presence is the hardest thing. But they still expect that seesaw effect, if that makes sense.
No, yes. I was thinking about social media, how when you said a lot of people come in and they basically expect something for nothing. And that's like with social media. A lot of women or even a lot of men work hard behind the scenes, like such as like dancers and stuff like that. And then people come out of nowhere and do one little thing that makes them go viral. So that's definitely a comparison that I was thinking. So it definitely made great sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting to the end of the show, but I do want to jump into open conversation right quick. And this open conversation is about women in business. So obviously, as a woman in the world, I do see things begin to shift and women become more confident, determined, and motivated in their daily lives. So do you believe women are really the future? And when I say that, compare the past with now, meaning like growing up, you will believe men are the front end. You really can't do anything without them. But do you see in the future it's going to be the other way around?
I only can say from what I've learned in my household. Like in the household that I was raised in, I feel like my father played a very big part and a very big role in my life. The men and the man that is in my life, my son that's in my life, they play a really big role in my life. And they are always first because to me, the chart of organization will always start with the male. I know that sounds crazy because people will say, okay, you're a woman in sports, you should condone women being at the top. I'm all for any woman being in any position of power. But for me, I always feel like as a woman, we are still women. We are fragile. We need somebody to frontline for us. Now, when they start trying to get in our way, then we should have a problem with that if they're doing it maliciously. But if you want to frontline, please do go ahead. All right, just make a seat right next to you. So if somebody wants to sit next to you, you know, just like Winnie would do, Nelson, it's like we can sit next to you. But anything of, you know, the sort of just keeping me behind because I'm a woman and I'm built different, nah, we ain't for that.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. So you're okay with a man being in the front line as long as he make you even to the situation.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I feel like men are men. Like they're built for that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're for. Like if we take them out of the picture, then what do we have? Does that make sense? If a woman is in a position where she feels like she is comparable to a man, you can go from a strength module. I'm religious. I don't know about other people that are on your show, but God made man.
No, I'm religious. Yeah, okay. I'm religious too. So I let that be known.
Cool. So God made man stronger than woman, right? And even if we feel like we are ahead of them when it comes down to the lateral effect as far as masculinity, we can have that. But when it comes to strength, they will always outsurface us. So that means that they are given something, you know, from the higher power that we do not have, which would probably be masculinity and strength, which is what they're supposed to use to protect us. That's what I was, you know, taught as a child. So I do feel like a woman can be in a man's position. A man can do whatever it is that he does as long as he respects her hustle and she respects his. I think that it'll be fine. Is when a man does not see a woman fit for a certain position is when he needs to go back and you know, reprogram. Yeah. So that's what I feel.
I definitely enjoyed this conversation so much. Thank you for hopping on my podcast. Before we end, I am going to announce a change challenge. What my listeners do know that the change challenge can be for everyone or a certain community or just an individual person. Today, this change challenge is for the women. Because women in business is a big thing that's going on right now. I see my friends and my families. I'm so proud of everybody. So for the woman that's in business right now, I just need everybody. This is your change challenge, and even the men. But women, I need you to support everyone and each other. I need you to shout each other out, buy somebody's brand, comment, make a review, do something that helps a woman's business, because at the end of the day, women are power. Once again, thank you so much, RJ. I definitely enjoyed this conversation. I'm definitely inspired by you about how you handle yourself when it comes to both of your businesses as an owner of a basketball team and a fashion brand. And I definitely just thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate you for having me.